What if the man who saved your life suddenly asked you to become his daughter? The question hit me like a thunderclap that never really faded. One minute I was just a waitress with a shaky future. The next I was staring at legal papers, adoption papers, with hands that wouldn't stop trembling. I remember my voice catching in my throat, my heart racing, my mind screaming, who am I to be loved like that? I wasn't ready, not for that kind of commitment, not for that kind of grace. I'd spent so long just trying to survive, I didn't know how to receive something that pure. But Jack Bennett looked at me the same way he looked at the restaurant he built with his bare hands, like I was something worth investing in, worth believing in. I was terrified, not of failure this time, but of finally belonging, of being chosen. Stay with me because what happened next changed more than my life. It built a movement. And it all began with a single word that shattered everything I thought I knew about myself. What was that word? Keep watching. What you're about to hear might just rewrite the way you see family purpose and second chances forever. Excuse me, sir. Could I please wash dishes for a meal? The entire restaurant froze. All heads turned toward the front entrance of Bennett's Grill House, where a frail girl stood in the shadow of the doorway. Her voice trembled, yet carried a strange clarity, like someone who had long since stopped begging and now only asked to be seen. Her hair was messy, her clothes worn thin by time, and her shoes barely clung to her feet. And yet, she stood tall. The maitre d', clearly appalled, marched toward her with sharp clicking shoes. "This is a fine establishment, not a shelter," he barked. "Leave! Now!" "I'm not asking for charity," the girl replied, raising her voice above the murmurs from the elegant crowd. "I can work. I want to work. I just haven't eaten in 2 days." From the corner, a woman in pearls scoffed loudly. "Call the police. This is disturbing. I can clean. I can serve. I can mop the floors. Just give me a shot," the girl pleaded. "Out before I have you dragged out." The maitre d' snapped, reaching for her arm. "Wait," the voice came from the back of the room. Calm but commanding, everyone turned. Jack Bennett stood from his corner booth. In his early 60s, dressed in a simple gray suit with rolled-up cuffs, he was the kind of man who never needed to raise his voice to take control of a room. The maitre d' paused mid-stride. "Sir, I was just about to—" "I heard you," Jack interrupted. He walked slowly to the girl and looked her in the eyes. "When was the last time you ate? 2 days ago," she answered, never breaking eye contact. Jack took a breath. There was something hauntingly familiar in her stare. It echoed someone he hadn't seen in years, someone who used to believe the world could still be kind. "What's your name, Emily Carter, sir?" "You got ID?" She pulled a folded birth certificate from her backpack. Jack scanned it quickly, then asked, "Where are you sleeping?" "Nowhere. I lost my job then, my apartment. I have clean clothes stashed outside in my bag. I just need someone to give me a week to prove I can do this." She spoke with such conviction it startled him. "A week, that's all she asked. You'll start tomorrow, 6 a.m. sharp, 1 week trial." A loud gasp rippled through the room. Someone muttered, "This is ridiculous." Jack ignored them. "You'll eat something now," he said, signaling a server. "Then go get yourself a room at the shelter on 3rd. Here's some cash, clean up, come back on time and be ready to work." Emily blinked, stunned. Why are you helping me?" "Because someone once helped me when I didn't deserve it," Jack replied. "But I won't go easy on you. If you mess this up, you're out." Emily nodded, eyes glassy. "Yes, sir. I won't let you down." That night, Jack couldn't sleep. Something about her clung to his chest like dust on old memories. She was the same age his daughter Chloe had been before the crash. The next morning, Emily stood outside the restaurant at 5:30 a.m., showered and wearing the only clean outfit she owned. Jack unlocked the door at 6 on the dot. "You're early. I always am," she said. Inside, he didn't rush her straight into cleaning. Instead, he invited her to sit. "I want to know who I'm trusting my floor to." Emily told him about growing up with a single mother who cleaned houses. Her mother had died 6 months ago from untreated diabetes. Her father had never been around. "I finished high school but couldn't afford college. I've worked at stores, watched kids clean offices. I came here because I figured if I could get a job at the Bennett's Grill House, maybe I could learn something worth knowing." Jack stared at her for a long time. "You want to learn business?" he asked. "I want to learn how to make things better." for myself, for others. I want to be more. Before he could reply, Frank Dempsey, the head chef, entered the kitchen and raised an eyebrow. "This her," Jack nodded. "Emily, meet Chef Dempsey. He's been here 15 years. "Pleasure to meet you, sir," Emily said, rising from her chair. Frank gave a skeptical grunt. "You know anything about cooking enough to not set the place on fire?" She smiled. He chuckled despite himself. "We'll see." By mid-morning, the staff arrived. Some cast curious looks. Others, like Grace Taylor, a seasoned waitress in her 40s, offered warm, quiet smiles. Jack introduced Emily as a new trainee, but not everyone was thrilled. Around noon, the lunch rush came. Emily juggled her first tables with trembling hands. At table 5, a well-dressed man snapped, "Miss, I've been waiting 15 minutes for my coffee." Emily rushed to the kitchen only to realize the coffee had been sitting there for 10. She had forgotten it. "Chef, I forgot table 5's coffee," she whispered. Frank handed her another cup. "Just own it, kid." She returned to the table. "Sir, I'm truly sorry. That was my mistake." The man scoffed. "I want the manager. This is disgraceful." Before Emily could speak, Jack appeared. "Sir, I apologize. The meal is on the house. You'll also get a 20% discount next visit." The man, surprised at the honesty and service, softened. "Fine, but this better not happen again." After he left, Jack turned to Emily. "What did you learn?" "That honesty is hard, but it earns more than excuses ever will." Exactly. That night, after a full 16-hour shift, Jack found Emily wiping down tables even after closing time. "Where are you staying tonight?" "The Shelter." He paused. "There's a small room above the restaurant. Nothing fancy, just a cot, a bathroom, and a window. But it's safe. You'd be close to work. I'd deduct a little from your pay." Emily's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "Come, I'll show you." They climbed the narrow staircase to a small room with a view of the quiet street. It wasn't much, but to Emily it felt like her first key to a door she'd never believed would open. "I'll take it," she whispered. Jack nodded. "Then tomorrow, your second day begins." That night, Emily lay on the cot, staring at the ceiling, heart racing with something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. But deep inside her chest, she also felt something else: pressure. Fear. She was being given something sacred, and she had to prove herself worthy, no matter what it took. We're sorry to pause the story here, but if you were in Emily's place, would you have had the courage to speak up in front of that crowd? If this story touched your heart even a little, we hope you'll like this video and send a heart to support stories of second chances. Some journeys move in inches. Others, like Emily's, begin with a single desperate step and race forward like a flood once the dam breaks. Within just 6 months, Emily Carter had transformed. She no longer stumbled under the weight of a serving tray. She knew the names of the regulars by heart. She could glance at a table and know what was missing. She even laughed, more soft, cautious at first, but slowly it became real. Her past didn't vanish, but it no longer suffocated her. Jack Bennett noticed. One late evening after closing up, he found her wiping down menus with unusual care. The dining room was quiet, only the sound of rain tapping against the windows. "You've made this place feel alive again," he said. Emily turned to him, surprised. "It's this place that brought me back to life." Jack nodded slowly. "Then maybe it's time to talk about what's next." "What do you mean I've been watching?" "You've got more than just hustle. You've got heart and a brain that doesn't stop ticking." "How would you feel about learning the business side of things?" Emily stared. The thought thrilled her and terrified her. "You think I could handle that? I think you already are." They began slowly, Jack showing her how to tally receipts, manage shift schedules, negotiate with suppliers. At night, Emily studied accounting and management from used textbooks in her small upstairs room. Her dream was no longer just survival. It was purpose, building something lasting, becoming someone she once thought she never could. Then one rainy Thursday, life circled back in a way she never expected. A boy stood in the same doorway she once had, soaking wet, eyes full of grit, clothes torn at the seams. "Can I speak to the manager?" he asked timidly. Emily stepped forward. "I'm the assistant manager. Can I help you? I'll do anything. Wash dishes, sweep floors. I just need work." She looked him over, not with pity, but with painful recognition. What's your name, Noah Mitchell? I'm 17. My mom's sick and we can't afford her meds. I live with my aunt now, but she says I need to start pulling my weight or leave. Emily swallowed hard. Her hands trembled just slightly. He was her all over again. Same fire, same fear. Do you have any ID? He nodded quickly and showed her a crumpled folder from his backpack. Emily went to the kitchen and found Jack going over produce invoices. There's a boy outside, she said quietly. He's like I was, maybe worse. Jack looked up, eyes narrowing in thought. What do you want to do? Give him a week. I'll train him myself. You sure you're ready to lead someone else? No, she admitted, but I think the only way to find out is to try. Jack smiled. That's what I thought when I hired you. They gave Noah the same deal 1 week. Room to sleep, pay enough to get by, but with rules, discipline, and expectations. Emily took her promise seriously. She drilled Noah on basics, taught him how to handle pressure, even stood beside him during his first lunch rush when a panicked customer yelled and he froze. She didn't jump in to save him. Instead, she whispered, "Take a breath. Apologize. Make it right." And he did. A few weeks later, Jack pulled her aside. You've got leadership in you, he said. The real kind. The kind that changes people. Emily looked away uneasy. Then why do I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing? Because you care. That fear, that means your heart is in it. She smiled faintly. Still doesn't make it easy. It's not supposed to. Things were finally beginning to settle, until disaster struck. It was late. Emily had stayed to help Frank with the month-end inventory. She was rushing toward the pantry when her foot slipped on a patch of spilled oil. Her head hit the edge of a steel table with a sickening thud. She didn't feel herself fall. She woke up in the hospital, her vision blurry. Jack, sitting beside her, eyes red, a coffee going cold in his hands. You scared the hell out of me, he whispered. Emily blinked. What happened? You hit your head. Hard. Concussion. You've been out for almost 2 days. 2 days? What about the restaurant Grace and Frank have it covered? I'm not leaving your side. Why are you doing this? Jack's voice cracked. Because you're not just my employee anymore. You're family. The silence between them was full of emotion, too big for words. Then softly he said, Emily, would you ever consider making this official? I don't have anyone. My wife and I divorced after Chloe died. My parents are gone. I've been alone for years, but I don't want to be anymore. Not if you'll have me. She froze. A dozen emotions raced through her. Fear, joy, hope, guilt. She had always wanted a father. But what if she let him down? I don't know if I'm ready. Then don't decide now, Jack said. Just know the door's open. Emily stared at the ceiling that night, trying to make sense of her life. 6 months ago, she had been invisible, unwanted, forgotten. And now she had a room, a job, a voice, and someone who wanted to call her daughter. Was she worthy of that kind of love? Was she brave enough to accept it? We'll continue the next part of Emily's journey shortly. But right now, if you were in her shoes, would you have said yes to becoming Jack's daughter? If this part moved you, please give this video a like and drop a heart to show support. Every second chance starts with someone believing. Emily didn't say yes right away. She needed time to feel it, to wrestle with it, to believe she was truly worthy of calling someone dad. But Jack didn't pressure her. He just kept showing up with warm meals, gentle smiles, quiet encouragement. And 3 weeks after she left the hospital, Emily found herself standing in his office, holding a pen over the adoption papers. She looked up, her voice trembling. You sure about this? I was sure the day you walked in and demanded a chance, Jack said. I've just been waiting for you to believe it too. She signed her name with tears in her eyes. And in that moment, Emily Carter became Emily Bennett, not just in paperwork, but in spirit and heart, in the eyes of the man who now called her daughter. From there, everything changed. The mentorship she gave Noah grew into something bigger, a plan, a program. She pitched it to Jack one evening over dinner. What if they created a space where more young people like her and Noah could learn, train, grow, and find purpose? They called it Second Chance. Jack backed her completely, and within months, they welcomed 5 trainees from local shelters. Emily led workshops on communication, conflict resolution, and customer service. Frank taught them how to cook with care. Grace showed them how to handle even the rudest customer with dignity. Word spread. By the end of the first year, Second Chance had helped 15 young people land jobs in restaurants around Charleston. Some of them had never been told they were good at anything before. Now they were saving money, paying rent, helping their families. Emily didn't stop there. She enrolled in a university program for business management and started writing down everything she had learned, the good, the painful, the quiet miracles. That became a book titled From the Streets to Purpose, and to her shock, it resonated across the country. Reviews poured in, schools invited her to speak, organizations donated, and within 2 years they opened Second Chance centers in Seattle, Boston, Denver, and Austin. But just as Emily's world was expanding, Jack's was quietly fading. It began with fatigue, then chest pains, then a diagnosis heart failure late stage. Emily refused to accept it. She doubled his appointments, found specialists, begged him to rest. But Jack, always calm, simply smiled. "I've lived a full life, Emily. You gave me the best chapter of it." One morning he called her into his hospital room. The light outside was soft golden. "I need you to do something for me," he said. "Anything. Take the restaurant, make it yours. I'm not just talking legally. I want it to be your home, your heart, your hub for change. I built it for Chloe, but you gave it new meaning." Emily gripped his hand. "I can't do this without you." "Yes, you can," he whispered, "because you'll never really be without me." He passed away quietly 2 nights later. Emily was holding his hand. The funeral was like nothing the town had ever seen. Politicians, business owners, former street kids and single mothers stood side by side. Every one of them had been touched by Jack Bennett's grace or by the daughter he'd chosen to believe in. After the service, Emily stood alone in the restaurant, lights off, remembering. On the wall hung a picture of Chloe, next to it now Jack, and in between a new photograph, the first graduating class of Second Chance, all smiling, all thriving. She placed her hand on the wall. "I'll keep going. I'll do what you asked. I'll build something even bigger than we dreamed." 5 years passed. Second Chance had trained over 300 young people across 15 cities. Emily had become a national voice for social impact in youth development. She still worked every Sunday shift at the original Bennett's Grill House side by side with new trainees. One of them, a girl named Ava, had once been caught stealing food. Emily had found her crying behind a dumpster. Now Ava was set to graduate from the program and enter culinary school. "You believed in me when no one else did," Ava said one day. Why? Emily smiled gently. "Because someone once did the same for me." At the annual Chamber of Commerce Gala, Emily was awarded Social Entrepreneur of the Year. She stood on stage before 500 people. Behind her on the screen, photos of her, with Jack, Chloe, and dozens of Second Chance alumni. "When I was 19, she began, I asked a man if I could wash dishes for a meal. That man gave me more than food. He gave me dignity. He gave me a future. And when he called me his daughter, he gave me a name I was proud to carry." She paused, scanning the room, her voice thick with emotion. Everything we build, every success story, every young person who rises, it all started with that one choice, a second chance. The audience stood applauding. Some wept. Others raised their hands in quiet salute. Later that night, Emily sat outside the restaurant looking up at the stars. "Chloe, Jack, I hope I'm making you proud." Somewhere in the silence, she felt it, not an answer in words, but in warmth, in peace, in the rhythm of a life reborn. And she knew one thing for certain: this was only the beginning. If you had the chance to give someone a second chance, like Jack gave, Emily, would you take it? And if you were the one needing it, would you be brave enough to ask? We'd love to hear your thoughts. How did this story make you feel? Comment number 3 if it touched your heart, number 1 if it didn't quite connect, and number 2 if it felt just okay. Also tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Please remember to like, send a heart, and share this video if you believe in the power of second chances. Your support helps stories like this reach someone who might need it most.